Well, of course, I'm back on Mom's. I've been over here since yesterday. I just made breakfast and decided to make bacon, egg, and cheese on English muffins. Does now look good. Yum, yum. All right, so a little bit of good news. So things are always changing, as you know. Now, this is about Mom. She's had a catheter now since the stroke back in, when was that? October 13th?
August 5th.
August 5th. And that affected her midsection, all that. But we've been working with her and the urologist, and we've been able to eliminate the catheter. So now she's able to go on her own, which is great. It took a long time. But with that now, she's getting up more at night to use the bathroom, of course. So we need to make some adjustments in our notification system, and that's what we're working on now. We're working on a different system to alert us when she does get out of bed to go to the restroom, so we can make sure she doesn't fall or get hurt. So things are always changing, but this is great news for us and for Mom. All right, well, I just did some last minute sanding on the two doors for the closet. Now I'm gonna go ahead and put the first of many coats of clear on it, and hopefully get them looking good. Once you put some of that clear on it, you can see, my brother was just mentioning, when you put the clear on, boy, it really makes the pattern jump out. Now, of course, they're all different as the tree grows, but that's pretty. Time for a quick lunch break. Mom has this, oh, she's eating her sandwich over there, and Mark and I got a wrap to split. So I got half, and he has half. Lunch. Hey, some excitement here. I'm actually, I found the wood. I think I might have showed you. I found the wood for the garage door, but I got it all cut to width, whatever. And now I'm actually cutting the last two pieces to length, and then I can go ahead and start doing the rabbit dado in the back here. Not dado, but cut the rabbit out so it'll receive a panel. And this is the last large door that needs to be built. This would be the garage door all the way at the back, and I had just found the pieces just long enough. Had a pretty good bow to it, and I had to run it through the joiner several times to straighten it out. It's not perfect. It still has a little bit of a bow, but for the purposes of the bus, it's going to be all right. It's hard to tell, but if I flip one over, you can definitely see there's a little bit of a bow there. Push that together so you can see that bow. I'll try and correct that when I assemble it. But the price is right. We will make it work the best we can. On a different note altogether, is because Mark and I, my brother, are cleaning out a lot of Dad's stuff, and I came across these boots, as well as many others that happen to be my size, and they're nice boots. And so I put them on to try them. They're really hurt me back here in the heel. They're a little bit small, maybe, even though they're the size I wear. But I'm going to try them for a bit and see if I can break them in. So why let them go to waste? Well, that's about all that's going on right at the moment. I'm going to get back to cutting up these door pieces and get ready to start assembly. So I wanted these two pieces exactly the same length, so I clamped them with the clamp here for the first cut, and I cut it off here flush. Before I released it from that clamp, I clamped it with this clamp, slid it down, got it lined up, and then clamped it again here. So now these two are exactly the same, and I didn't set up a stop to do it, which you could do that, but I just figured I'd just do it this way really quick, and I don't have to worry about them being different lengths. The other thing I did is I kind of laid them out the way they're going to be. Like, these would be the two outside, the panel would be in the middle. These would be the bottom and top, obviously going to be wider apart. I laid them out the way I wanted them, and I figured this is going to be the inside. I went and flipped them, and you can see I drew arrows. So when I put the the little rabbit in, it'll correspond correctly to the same thing for the bottom and top rail. So when I run it through and then I'm done, I put it back together, you can see there's somewhat of a matching grain. Now they're going to be across the door from each other, but the grain's at least going in the same direction. And then this, of course, is the same board cut. So you can see the grain will, they're going to be, 60 some odd inches apart from each other up and down, but at least it'll kind of match up. Take a few extra minutes to do that. It'll just one of those little subtle things you may not notice, but if it was opposite, you just might notice it. Now, one thing I did with these particular ones is I did make the first cut, and then I raised the blade up to cut deeper. So the cut in these are much deeper than the other ones. And the reason for that is I'm going to put a much thicker piece of panel in this one, I think, to help with hopefully the bow in these boards. If I put something thicker in here and really nail it and glue it and everything, hopefully it'll fix it. I just got to clean this up and get this little edge piece that doesn't cut off, and we'll start prepping it for finish work. It's going to have a lot of sanding now. So that's why I went deep with this particular one. Well, good morning. Just wrapped up things at Mom's house. I'm going to be bringing some wood in for the fireplace. I think first I'm going to go on the bus and take a look at some doors that I'm going to take some, not doors, but openings I need to do some measurements on. Because as you see, I'm starting to wrap up the bigger doors. There's still, more work to do, but we're getting there. So if I can get some more measurements ready, next time I'm downstairs over there, I can hopefully make some more. I just gotta dig up enough scrap wood to see what I need to make the some of the kitchen doors. And I gotta replace that smoke detector battery. All right, I'm on the bus, and what I need to measure is like I'm gonna need a cabinet door here. This is gonna be drawers here, so that'll be different. And then I think this needs a cabinet door here. And of course I need cabinet doors on this side. I think I'm gonna make 6 small ones, so it'll be halfway. Doors will go halfway. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and they'll open. You know what I mean. So I gotta take some measurements for that. All right, so as you know, I'm getting ready to start assembling the garage door. And I don't have any more pocket hole screws over here. I'd have to go home and get them. It's raining out, blah, blah, blah. So I decided, what the heck, it's not something I use very often or almost at all anymore, but I decided to join this one with biscuits, and this is a biscuit joiner here. It cuts the little slots in. I'll show you that right here. So it makes these little slots, and then you take these things, which are called biscuits. See if I can do this one-handed. You just put it in there, and you can see it goes together like that. When you put glue, it swells up and everything gets all glued together. So basically, before you even make the cut, you put your pieces, these are just samples, you put your pieces where you want them. I just flushed this edge up here, drew a line across both of them, and then that's where I lined up my biscuit joiner. There's a little line here, it's hard to see, it's kind of dark, but you line that up with each one, and when you're done, you have a perfectly lined up slot in both pieces. And then you put glue everything, put it together, clamp it, let it dry, and you're good to go. So I'm not sure if this is as good as pocket hole screws, but I'm going to probably put corner supports on this door as well. So this is what we're going to do for this particular door right here. Also, what I did is I went and I got my line in hand, but I also numbered all of the corners with the corresponding piece that they need to go next to, so when I reassemble this, it'll all go back together properly and it'll fit. I'm just getting my clamp set up here to make sure it's adjusted properly, and I can loosen it back up just with this. I won't have to move this. And I got the metal strap out the right distance, and what this does, it just sits on all the corners like this, and then you can crank this thing down tight and pulls everything together. I mean, there's no glue, nothing, and you can see this is all kind of staying together, because obviously once I get glue on it, the biscuits in it, tighten it down, I'll make sure everything is as flush as it can be, and then we'll go from there and glue it up and do any final sanding after we're done. Don't use this thing very often, but it's going to come in handy for this particular case, since I'm not using pocket hole screws and clamping each corner individually. Well, good morning. I'm actually heading over to Mom's. She's got an early appointment this morning with the urologist. As you know, we did remove the catheter almost a week ago now, and she's been doing very good, but we do have to confirm that she is emptying her bladder, because it's dangerous, of course, if she's not. But she's been doing really good, so I think all is good. We just got to go in and get confirmation on that today in order to keep the catheter out, which is huge news. It's just good all the way around. So that's what we're getting ready to head off to do now. Say hi.
Hi.
So we just finished up at the urology. Everything looks pretty good. We're gonna have some other tests done to see if she can strengthen the muscles and all that, but catheter is still out, so that is fantastic news. Now we'll move on to something else today.
Yeah.